All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Tatum Show. We got a whole bunch of crazy stuff to talk about today. Nancy Guthrie's updates. I've been waiting for an update on this case, and it's crazier than you thought it was. Carnivore cruise. You know how them YNs get down. We got to talk about it because I've been wanting to go on a cruise for a very long time, and it's like flying spirit. There's no way in the world I would travel on Carnivore cruise. Lady lost her job after confronting a Muslim and said a lot of things that people deemed as racist, xenophobic, and she raised a whole bunch of money. And we're going to have to talk about that as well. Before we get to any of that, I want to talk about Jeff Metcalf. He's went on the Kane show, the Will Kane show, and I think he had an incredible statement that he made. It's kind of interesting that I think with all the shenanigans that are going on, I really and truly believe that that man has a good heart and he said the right things, and America needs to listen to him. Welcome to the Tatum Show.
I want everybody in this room to have that same spirit, that same identity carried in your life.
Make sure that you go through life and find your purpose.
And we don't do this just to get a pat on the back. We do it because we came here to win.
And it starts with you understanding that God has a purpose for you.
This is the time to be more bold than ever before.
We're all Americans at the end of the day, and we should love one another. We should be focused on what's right for our country.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Thank you all for joining the membership program. I always want to give a shout out to the members. Thank you. If you haven't joined, hit the join button. Shout out to the people all the way from the rookies all the way to deputy chiefs. I really appreciate you. I love you. And I'm so thankful that you've helped us in this journey by supporting us through the membership program. Also, I want to tell you guys about this incredible hat. Shout out to John Root. He's the one that came up with the idea, and I thought it was an incredible idea to print this hat, or at least to embroider this hat. And if you want one of these hats, it's Genesis 9, 12 through 16. I said 11 the other day. It really starts at Genesis 10, 9. But you can go Genesis 9, 12 through 16. Talks about God's covenant with us and how the rainbow belongs to the Christians, not the weirdos, okay? So if you want one of these hats, get you one at tatumstore.com, tatumstore.com. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's get to the first topic of the day. And before we get there, I want to show you guys what the media is saying about the Carmelo Anthony's release of that video, or so the release from the courts of the evidence in the trial against Carmelo Anthony. That's a better way to put it. So let's pull it up and look at ground.news, because this is where you go to get all your information, and you can see where the biases are at. All right, so when I go and look at this, it's kind of interesting because you can check out these podcasts in the Breakfast Club, which is trash, they're on the left, and also The View, which is super trash, and they're on the far left, on the R. I call them R for some that rhyme with tart, but with a re at the beginning. Anyway, if you look at the way people are covering this, look at how the left is covering it. And I think that this, and to be honest, I think this is a more balanced way to cover it, but the left is covering it. The first story from a leftist news network called The People, it says Carmelo Anthony sobs on body-worn cameras footage, which is, an appeal to his empathy, which I don't think he had any whatsoever. He really cried because he thought he was going to go to jail. And then you see newly released video captured after a fatal stabbing in Texas. So generically speaking, they covered it in a very basic way. You go to the right, it's the same type of stuff. Treasure trove of evidence in Carmelo Anthony's case released. You can see that there's a little bit of bias on the right side. Obviously from the Daily Wire, you go to the Western Journal, and the release of the surveillance footage of Carmelo Anthony's murder of Autin Metcalf. Now, let me look at this, because I was kind of curious about this, because on the right, they speak very directly about the fact that he murdered Autin Metcalf. Yeah, see, look. Oh, yeah, it said Autin Metcalf's murder. I was wondering if the left was going to capitulate to it, or they're going to be reasonable. But if you look at most of the ones that they captured, I don't see them claiming it to be a murder. Body-worn camera, Carmelo Anthony's arrest, release of the trial, evidence made. Okay. None of it said really murder trial, but it doesn't say that he murdered Autin Metcalf. But then on the right, you can see very clearly it's directly saying footage of the murder. All right, anyway, this is where I get my information, man. This is how I look on both sides, so you can see what's trending and, not what's trending, or what people are saying. You could use this little tab at the top, which I really like, to be quite honest. You go left, right, center. This does a little AI synopsis, so you don't have to read all that stuff if you don't want to. All right, all you got to do is go to ground.news/Tatum. You get 40% off the unlimited plan, which is the plan that I use. Don't be cheap. I'm getting you 40% off. Get the unlimited plan so you can have access to everything. All right, let's get to Autin Metcalf. His father was on the Will Cain show. And I'm not going to lie, man. Every time I hear him talk, I like what he has to say more and more. He seems like more of a reasonable person. If you compare Autin Metcalf's dad with Carmelo Anthony's dad, you can see a clear differentiation between somebody who's logical and reasonable and somebody who's still making excuses for his son, who killed another man's son, should not have played the race card, but he did anyway. And it's a huge contrast. It's almost like a split in American values. But let's listen to what he had to say on the Will Cain show. Roll the clip.
With this video's release, Jeff, do you hope the public can see about this moment?
Well, I mean, obviously, the trial not being publicly viewed live, due to there's so many minors involved, and that's a different subject I could talk about on its own, because look at the damage that these young students who had to witness this murder, who have to live with this for the rest of their life. Every one of them, I believe, are in counseling. PTSD could be a thing. I mean, this is a trauma that you carry the rest of your life, possibly. Hopefully they can get the help they need and move forward and not be scarred from it. Me personally, I'm the same way. I need the help too to make sure that I can move forward. And that's what I really want to concentrate on, is moving forward. I hope this video can clear up a lot of the misinformation that was provided throughout the entire year before the trial came to light. There were multiple lies and mistruths that were put on social media, that were spoken by even individuals that have some fame. People had their own opinions without even seeing the facts. And that's the part I have trouble with.
Yeah, we got a couple more clips. We got about 4 more clips of this, so I'm just going to interject just real quick, but we're going to get back to the clips. One thing I do want to say is that there was a lot of misinformation. There was misinformation saying that he was jumped. People swear to God they saw the video of him getting jumped by multiple people. That did not happen. People were talking about the storm that was occurring outside as if it was a tornado and he was ducking and covering under a tent. That did not happen. The fact that he had like a multi-tool set that was inadvertently used as a sharp object. That's not true. He had a big old knife that he used to stab somebody. That knife is used to stab and to cut and to slice, and it was vicious. That's why one hit went all the way through his bones, all the way through his ribs into his heart. That was another item of misinformation. It bothers me that that's the case, and I'm gonna be honest with you. Charlie Kirk's case is gonna be the exact same thing. All these people out here lying about Charlie Kirk's case. Wait till the trial comes, and we're gonna share the truth, and it's gonna be unequivocal. And then I'm gonna accept apology. I'm gonna set up an email so you can email me your apology after we show what really happened in this case. All right. Anyway, let's get to the few other clips from Autin Metcalf's father. Roll it.
How did this become George Floyd 2.0?
Unfortunately, in today's moral decay of society, as we witnessed, people believe that if they have their own voice, they scream loud enough, they're right. And they believe perception is their own reality. It may not be truth, but in their mind, it is their own reality. For a person to not able to objectively look at something, use common logic, common sense, to come to a determination just based on merely the facts, not the color of one's skin, that tells me a whole lot about your character if you choose that direction.
And you told me you feel like you know the moment this became more than simply a horrible tragedy and a crime story in North Texas, where it became this larger thing, and it was that press conference.
Yes, sir. I do believe that was probably one of the turning points. I was there to show up to pray. I was hoping we could show the world this wasn't a racial divide thing, that we could kind of close the gap instead of widening it. But at that point, they'd obviously retained the services of Dominic Alexander, a convicted baby-shaking felon advocate who decided to throw me out of the press conference, had me removed by police, and then proceeded to gaslight me and tell me how I was such, I can't remember the word he used, but that I shouldn't have been there, and it was not dignified to my son or myself, which I really couldn't quite understand as they proceeded to gaslight me, and also took a There was a young lady who has followed the case also from the entire time. Her name is Sarah Fields. Also showed information about her. That's when they took it from any type of remorse, which they did not show, to the fact of now we're going to play the race card. And now we're going to politicize this. Now we're getting a political activist involved. The two things I said on one of the first interviews I ever did was, please don't make this about race, and please don't politicize it. But they chose to do both.
And your goal that day was to simply get together and pray?
All I wanted, yeah. I was actually hoping to show them, hey, look, man, I know what happened was terrible. And your son made a horrible mistake. I was hoping for some accountability maybe and some remorse. Neither one was shown.
Have you ever spoken to the Anthonys?
No.
No apology, no remorse?
Nothing.
Yeah, that was a pivotal point in that case, to be quite honest. That was it. You know, they had an opportunity to win there, but then the ignorant Negroes that they surround themselves with is the reason why things go south. They could have been reasonable and not made it about race, because they were really trying to get GoFundMe money, to be quite honest. They could have just put their arms around this guy and they said, look, man, both our children are gone, or, you know, the potentially could be gone. We want to show the nation that we can come together in such a tragedy. I promise you, as sure as I'm sitting here, Carmelo Anthony probably would have gotten charged with manslaughter, or he wouldn't have done hardly any time in prison. But the race card and all that bull shenanigans that they did caused it to be way crazier than what it was. 3 more clips, and then we move to the next topic. Roll it.
We don't see color. So all I see is character in people. I don't care what color you are. I want to judge you how you treat people. What's your character like? Your color makes no difference. It doesn't determine your IQ. It doesn't determine your faith. It doesn't determine how much money you have. But your character shows who you are truly. And that's how I judge people.
And you said don't get me started on it, but to your point, a lot of big voices in the media have talked about this, said I don't understand. I could play a clip for you, which I'm not going to, of Sonny Hostin on The View saying I don't understand how this couldn't possibly be self-defense. So what is your judgment of all these people in the media that have spoken on the case?
Well, they're just like anybody else. They don't know me. They don't know Hunter, Austin. They don't know Carmelo. They're looking for their 15 minutes of fame or their clickbait or their clicks. They're looking to monetize the death of my son. I really wish they wouldn't speak about at all. Because one, if that woman said that, she has no idea about the facts of the case, but she wants to spew her public opinion on a platform that reaches millions of people every day. Do I have that platform? No, but today I have a little platform to say what I'd like. She is completely wrong. And if they want to take me and call me and ask me to be on The View with them, I would gladly fly me up there and let me talk to all of you.
Well, I can promise you more people are watching you right now than watch The View.
That's not hard to believe.
Yeah, you know, hey, I'll fly you up there. If The View tell him, we're going to have you on, and he can't afford it, I'll fly him out there. I'll put you on. You might got to do coach, but I'll get you out there. Because there's no way in the world they can sit and talk to this man and leave with dignity. Because they're just spewing stupidity. They know nothing about the case and they don't care. 2 more clips, roll it.
What would you like the world to know about Autin Metcalf?
Man, I don't think we have enough time. But, I mean, Autin, I'll try to sum it up. He was a leader. He was a God-fearing son. He had compassion. He showed love. He always helped, always was helping his teammates, always helping the younger kids from middle school who was transitioning to high school football. He would go and talk to them and tell them what to expect. He would coach them in the weight room. He was a leader. When he stepped on that field, he became someone totally different. And he played, I told him once before, I said, son, you play with such controlled rage. And it shows. And for him to have all the accolades and the thing and where he was going, I mean, there's no doubt in my mind he was playing D1 football. But, you know, let's just go a step forward. Maybe there's that 1% chance he does get to the NFL. I may be biased because he's my son, but he had the numbers, the stats, and the size. So the possibility does exist. I don't know about the probability, but the possibility surely existed.
And his last message was to the parents, and I think people need to listen to this. Roll it.
This is one of the things that people understand that we did all the time was this. And this is sign language for I love you. If you ever see my boys or whatever, that was kind of like, their thing to tell me, hey, man, I'm thinking about you, I love you. And I just want the world to understand, it all starts with you, and it all starts at home. So as a parent, do your best, hug your kids. Doesn't mean they're going to turn out right or wrong. It doesn't guarantee that they will live or die. But I do believe if you instill your moral values and a moral compass, I think our society is going the wrong direction right now. And us as parents are the only ones that are able to change this, because our kids are the future. And what does our future look like with what we're teaching them right now that is acceptable?
I would love to hear Carmelo Anthony's parents get on television and say these things. This man actually lost his son. Their son's still alive. He's going to do some time in prison, but he's still alive. And they cannot muster enough courage to get on television and have a unifying message. It's got to be about race, victimhood, and downtroddenness. And it's sickening to me. We're going to get to some Nancy Guthrie updates, which is incredible. I always had some suspicion about this whole thing. It's kind of weird the way some of this stuff panned out. Nobody really knows why. I think that when time reveals itself, I think we're going to be shocked at who was behind this, to be quite honest. That's just my opinion. I don't have any evidence and facts to lead to that as unequivocal, but it's so bizarre that I really do think that it's not what people think it is. I don't think random people came and got Miss Guthrie and took her out there and killed her and wanted the real ransom. I don't really know that to be true. I don't think it is true. I think it may have been somebody close to her, somebody in the family, somebody they knew was trying to set something up, and it went south, and she ended up dying. Now, before we get there, I want to tell you guys about Shenergy. If you're looking for an incredible energy drink that's clean, that's natural, with green tea extract from the green tea leaf. I mean, this is all natural caffeine, and coupled with the whole entire system of the day and the night. So you have the night, ashwagandha, magnesium, and 1 milligram of melatonin. You can get that, get some really good sleep, which God knows I need it. You get some really good sleep, do it in a cycle, do it for a week, it'll change your life. ShenergyLife.com, ShenergyLife.com. All right, let's get to some of the Nancy Guthrie updates. Roll the clip.
Sad news in the search for Nancy Guthrie. A federal source telling Fox News that the second ransom note in the investigation indicated that the 84-year-old died after she was abducted.
Todd Pyro joins us with the details. Good morning, Todd.
A tough update here. Good morning to all three of you. The note said Nancy was, quote, buried with nature. The sender or senders of the first two ransom notes have not been publicly identified, and there have been no reported arrests in connection to them. The notes were received within days of Nancy Guthrie's disappearance. The first note demanded millions in Bitcoin in exchange for Nancy's return. Savannah Guthrie spoke out about the two notes back in March.
I believe the two notes that we received, that we responded to, I tend to believe those are real.
Authorities have not publicly or confirmed or denied the note's authenticity, I should say. And we're now learning no money or Bitcoin was ever sent in response to the ransom demands. Images from Nancy Guthrie's doorbell cam showing a masked man at her house. These were released early on in the investigation, but as we know, the suspect has not been identified. Savannah Guthrie sending a message to the suspected kidnappers back in February.
We received your message, and we understand. We beg you now to return our mother to us so that we can celebrate with her. This is the only way we will have peace. This is very valuable to us, and we will pay.
Investigators have been searching for Nancy since she was taken from her home in Tucson, Arizona in February. There is a $1.2 million reward for any information leading to an arrest in the case or the recovery of Guthrie or her remains. Anyone with any information is being asked to call 1-800-CALL-FBI. Back over to you.
Very interesting, man. I find it to be bizarre. I'm not accusing anybody. I don't have any evidence. I'm not like some of these other people online that just make up evidence because it'll be juicy. It'll get you all riled up. I can make a whole thing about Nancy Guthrie and all the conspiracies that I can talk about, but I'm not going to do that because there's no evidence to that. But I can say the theory that I have is that typically in these situations, a lot of times people are not killed by random individuals. A lot of times people are kidnapped and killed and injured, murdered by people that they know, somebody in close proximity, somebody that used to work at the house, somebody that know her schedule. In this case, I often wonder, are we going to see one of these Dateline shows where it comes out that the family did it and it was a hoax, and the ransom note was really the cousin or uncle or somebody looking for some money, and hopefully they can get the money and you know, they need drugs or they trying to do some old crazy stuff. That is what it seems like this is going to turn out to be, in my opinion. Okay? All right, and here is Harvey Levin, what is his name, Levin? Harvey Levin, which I think his whole connection to this thing is kind of weird. And I'm not saying weird in the case, meaning that he's associated. It's weird in the fact that the ransom note was sent to TMZ. That's weird to me. Roll the clip.
I want to talk about Nancy Guthrie and some communications I've had with the FBI that I haven't talked about until now. But I want to start with these reports that this ransom letter that we received kind of apologizes to Savannah Guthrie and her family for the kidnapping, and that that Nancy was no longer alive. That was not in the ransom note that we received. It is not in that ransom note at all. It does say that she's scared, but okay. But the ransom note makes no reference to Nancy Guthrie either dying or the kidnappers apologizing. Now, there is a reference to Nancy Guthrie not being alive anymore, but that is from the person who sent us multiple emails saying that he knows or knew where Nancy Guthrie was and where the kidnappers were, and he wanted money in return for information. We passed that along to the FBI as we did the ransom note, but this person kept sending us emails, and early on he said time is of the essence, and then a few days after the kidnapping he said time is no longer of the essence, meaning she wasn't alive. So that's where that came from. Not the people who kidnapped her, but from the person who was sending us these notes. Now that person wanted effectively $100,000. He actually reduced it at some point, but that's what he wanted in return for giving information about the whereabouts of Nancy Guthrie or her remains and the kidnapper. This person also said that he was afraid that he might be implicated. He had a burglary on his record from, I think he said, 11 years before. And apparently he knew these kidnappers well enough that he was afraid that they would exact revenge on him for blowing the whistle on the kidnappers.
Now, don't y'all find that to be kind of strange? I mean, I do. Like, this guy knows the kidnappers. He knows where the whereabouts are at. And, you know, typically if you go to the law enforcement officers, then they can have you in witness protection. You can have immunity. All these other things can happen on your behalf if you go to federal authorities. But for this person to only go to a guy at TMZ or sending them manic emails, that just doesn't seem normal. That doesn't seem right. And I wonder why TMZ is involved in this to some degree. Is this person, you know, somehow connected to the media, that they think that this would get media attention, which will raise the level of ransom money? Because normally if a person want to do a ransom, you don't want to get caught. So why in the world would you send it to TMZ to tell the world that you got Nancy Guthrie's mama in ransom with Donald Trump as the president? They're going to send the full authority of the law, of the federal government out to look for you. So if you did this, you would want to make it public. You send it to Nancy Guthrie. You send it to her family and say, look, I got your mama. Don't say nothing to the media. Don't bring it up or I'll take her out. So give me this money, and you won't hear nothing from us. But you start sending paper trails. It's just very bizarre. All right, let's go to the next story. We're gonna get to the next story. But first, we have a super chat. Thank you, True Game One, Officer Tatum. Beat Tatum. I think it's beat Tatum. Beat Tatum. Officer Tatum show. All right, I did it for you. There you go, True Game. Thanks so much for the super chat. I appreciate it. Now let's get to the story of the MLB backing down. I'm glad that people stood up against the Major League Baseball League. This should tell you a lot that you need to know about the direction of our country and our culture. Why in the funnel cake would the MLB make their players wear this gay stuff? It is not necessary. It is not reasonable. You probably can't name not one of the baseball players that are even gay. And why are you forcing this? And this is them backing down from it after the backlash happened, after the federal government had to get involved. And all of a sudden, wait till you see the note that they sent. Oh, we didn't communicate with the players that they didn't have to wear the hat. I put that on everything. I'm interviewing a baseball player tomorrow. I'm gonna ask him, did they make you wear it, or did they leave it, this ambiguous thing? I doubt they left it ambiguous because people wouldn't have wore it. They making them celebrate sexual deviancy. Anyway, come on, hit the news clip.
There's a topic, though, because we covered this story last week about the Major League Baseball, and they went after the players that put a Bible verse on their hats, and they were made to wear the hats that have the pride thing. So Senator Hawley says now that they are basically apologizing or saying that they did the wrong thing. This is a letter that Hawley says he received from MLB commissioner. My office issued a routine oral warning about the uniform policy violation. Unfortunately, it was issued before we became aware of the Giants' lapse in communication. The players were neither fined nor disciplined, nor will they ever be. Good outcome, I guess. In the end?
I mean, in the end, yes. They're blaming on a communication breakdown with the Giants organization, not MLB. So what Manfred's basically saying is what a lot of us were saying. Nobody should be forced to celebrate a thing if they don't celebrate it. But I just want to say again, those guys, those Giants players, hats off to them. Because what they did with truth and grace is they stood up for what they believed in. And I think that model is so important in our society, to have guys winsomely say, here's what I believe, and I'm going to let you know that.
Funny how Senator Hawley's letter got a little, suddenly everything changed, right?
Yes.
MLB backtracked.
Yeah, we know how that is. They were going to lose a lot of money and a lot of licensing and everything else if they didn't change that, because you are interfering with people's religious freedoms. You shouldn't, and they didn't even do nothing harsh. They didn't put Romans 1:27 on there. That says pretty much homosexuality is an abomination. That's in the Bible. They put a nice one on there. Hey, the rainbow belongs to God, and is a covenant between God and his people. They could have went way harder, but they didn't. They were very nice and reasonable. But the nut jobs tried to bully them, and it backfired. Here is Scott Jennings and his commentary on his Salem radio show. Roll the clip.
And I have to say, it's important that you denote when someone gets something right. Rob Manfred got this right, finally, on yesterday. He sent a letter back to Josh Hawley, basically a mea culpa, explaining that the San Francisco Giants failed to properly explain to the players that they were allowed to decline to wear the rainbow-themed caps during the Pride Night event. So several members of the Giants, the starting pitcher Landon Roop among them, had been handed these hats, and they were never told, hey, you can just wear your regular hat. You don't have to wear that. So that was a mistake made by the San Francisco Giants. I'm sure, by the way, if the players had been told you don't have to participate in this, they probably wouldn't have. So the league, according to Manfred in this letter back to Josh Hawley, had adopted a policy in 2023 of prohibiting clubs from using special uniforms, caps, or equipment. So this isn't actually supposed to be happening, except the San Francisco Giants and the Los Angeles Dodgers had petitioned the league for special grandfathered status on their own Pride Night stuff. So I guess this is only happening in those two markets. but the Giants were supposed to tell the players, you don't have to do this. So Rob Manfred said in the letter, the Giants players were allowed to wear the hats with biblical references for the entire game. After the game concluded, my office issued a routine oral warning about the policy violation. Unfortunately, it was issued before we became aware of the Giants' lapse in communication. The players were neither fined nor disciplined, nor will they ever be. Manfred said some players did not understand they had the option to wear their normal uniform.
Right. So I appreciate Scott Jennings giving his take on that. We got a whole bunch of super chats that just came in, so I want to make sure that we get those super chats. Then we're going to move on from there. Red Bear 85, it says, you are the best brother. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. A super chat from Chosen 11321 said, if Nipsey Hussle, why can't Autin Metcalf? Okay, if Nipsey Hussle can get justice, why can't Autin Metcalf? I think that's a shout out to the super chat, but I don't think it is that clear. I mean, Nipsey Hussle, the guy admitted to it. He was on camera. He shot and killed him in broad daylight, and everybody knew who he was, and he went to jail. And I think Autin Metcalf got justice as well because they found the killer or whatever. He sentenced to 35 years in prison, which I think was a fair thing, from the outside looking in. It's not my son. If it was my son, I probably want to get a death penalty. Nicole, thanks so much for the super chat. Detroit Tigers kicked out a woman who was showing her Jesus over Pride shirt behind home base Friday night. She was told that people were offended. You know what's crazy is that they don't mind offending you. They don't mind you getting offended, right? If I say the imagery and celebration of men laying on top of each other at night offends me, they okay with that. But then if you just say, I love Jesus, the rainbow belongs to Christians, people offended. What you offended about? Why are you offended that the biblical reference of the rainbow, which precedes any gay stuff that y'all done came up with, before y'all ever added colors to the rainbow, brown and pink and all kind of stuff y'all add to it to represent sexual immorality, before any of that existed, the Bible referenced the rainbow as a covenant between the people after the flood. This is thousands and thousands and thousands of years ago. And y'all all of a sudden are offended. No, we're offended. We're offended that y'all using that to indicate or celebrate y'all doing nasty sex. That's what it is. Y'all going down the wrong way street. Nasty. It's nasty. Can we just be honest? It's nasty. I'm gonna move on, but it's nasty. Quit playing. Y'all quit trying to push this down everybody's throat. You ain't supposed to do that. That the only one thing come out of that part. And y'all laying on top of each other doing it. And then your stuff messed up and you got medicine and AIDS and all kinds of stuff. Because you ain't supposed to be doing that. I don't even want to say what I really want to say. All right, let's get to the Spirit Airlines of the water, the Spirit Airlines of the sea, Carnivore cruise. Now, I just have to bring these things up because they're obvious, and I think nobody want to talk about it, especially people in the black community want to act like they got stuff over their eyes and they don't want to see what's going on. So I'm going to keep talking about it. Somebody got to say it. Black people need to change their ways, man. Y'all need to start raising y'all kids better. Y'all need to start changing your ways. Because as long as y'all nagging about these white folks, I'm going to keep talking about these incidents that happen. Ain't a white person in sight. Pull the clip up. These people in Miami getting ready to board a Carnivore cruise to go on a cruise ship. The average human being isn't brawling at a checkout line or check-in line. But this is what the Neanderthals are doing. But y'all want to act like this don't exist. Now, listen, just imagine. You there trying to have a good time going on this cruise, and this is what you see in the check-in line. Roll it. Time out. You got people in pajamas. You got bonnets. You got all kind of stuff. What are y'all doing? Who raising y'all? Roll it. Hey, time out. I take that back. There is white people. Oh, they're the police. They're the ones keeping order. Everybody in chaos is black, and everybody's keeping orders is white police officers. This is one thing I don't understand. Where are the black people that sign up to be cops? Where y'all at, man? Community and about the way cops are treating you, but y'all won't sign up and be cops. Disproportionate amount of black people here and no black cops. I don't want to hear y'all complain about nothing. Roll the clip.
Shoes. Let me get my shoes. What's another one? See right here. Let's go home.
You got kids fighting. You got people yelling, there's a baby over there. They kids fight. I see boys punching girls. You see all kind of stuff. Why are they like this? And what makes me want to keep saying this stuff is because they come after me and go, you don't love your mama because you always turn on your people. You claim that? Y'all claiming that over there? Can't even go to a cruise without y'all fighting and snatching bonnets and weave out of people's hair. Why they even get into a fight in the first place? It is a problem that the first resort. I remember when I was growing up, I used to think white people were weak. I ain't gonna lie, I think they weak. Because when black people get in a conflict, we throw hands. We ready to brawl. And white people are weak. They don't want to fight. They don't want to do it. And then I realized, we were being barbaric. We're acting like animals that cannot control their instinct to rage. Then I realized, civilized people don't fight when they have a disagreement with random people. Civilized people don't pull a gun, or civilized people don't believe that I'm not a man because I didn't fight this dude at the checkout line. And I wish that these young people realize you do not look civilized, and you are not civilized. And the world is passing you by if you acting like this. Teach your kids not to act like this. Please, people of the melanin, please change your ways. And I'm not saying it's everybody. There's good ones like me and a few other people that I know. But some of y'all are either ignorant here and famous, or you ignorant and you poor and you drama and chaos and violence. There's a remnant of black people that said, man, I'm done with that stuff. I don't want nothing to do with that. That ain't me. I don't mess with them people like that. I'm just me, my family, and the people that I love. And that incorporates anybody that's good people. Black, white, green, or orange. All right. Let's see. We got a couple more clips. Want to play that clip? Roll it. So this is the same thing, just a different angle. Y'all should call it Bonnetville. All right, next clip. This is all the cops that had to show up there because these people are not act. All right, let's get to the super chats, and then I think that's the last. That was the last story. Let me see. No, let's do the woman losing the temper on the Muslim people. But before we get there, I want to get to the super chat. True Game 1 wanted to share my favorite Bible verse with you, Hosea 8:7. That is the hat you should make and it says, what we are doing as a country that's based on God, literally, there will be repercussions. Love you, brother. I appreciate that. And Hosea 8:7 says, they sow the wind and reap the whirlwind. Let's see. Is that the stalk? The stalk has no head. It will produce no flower. Were it to yield grain, what is that? Dude, that don't look like that's spelled right, bro. Oh, my God. Foreigners would swallow it up. I should have read this out the Bible. I know, yeah, there's a couple stuff in there. I'm like, wait a minute, that don't look like that's right. But anyway, y'all get the gist of it. All right, let's get to this last story. I wanna show this. This lady, it's one of those same things like the lady at the playground that said the N-word to the kid, and then she raised $1 million. I think white people are sick of people trying to tell them how they should think, what they should do in a country that was founded by people that mostly look like them. Everybody else can be tribal except white people. And when white people become tribal, everybody call them a racist. Now, I don't think that it is good for a person to blindly be prejudiced against other people. I think it's ignorant. But I think in some of these cases, you have people that are fed up and they're sick of it. And they feel like they're getting pressured into being somebody they can't be and overtaken by people that don't even love this country. Now, I'm not saying that's the case. These young women who she's talking to could be decent folk. They just happen to be Muslim. They happen to be some Muslims, okay? That don't mean you bad because you're a Muslim. But in this situation, this lady decided to air her frustration. Now, let's put this in perspective. Pull up the clip. We don't know how this started. Obviously, something has happened before this video clip because somebody pulled out a camera and started recording the person mid-sentence. So you know something had to happen. The lady ain't walking around Walmart with a body camera on. Something happened and they start recording. So I don't know what led this white lady to say what she said, but here you go. Roll it.
Out of here. You're really not welcome in this state or this country.
You are wearing scrubs. You work with
it
people
doesn't matter. What matters is that you worship a terrorist who is a warlord, a pedophile, and Islam is a terrorist organization.
Yeah,
not a
you're
religion.
Not educated.
Not a religion. I'm very educated on this subject.
No, because you're obviously not.
You need to leave. You're not welcome here.
We are welcome.
This is not a Muslim country. This is a Christian country. And
Stop
you need
looking
to leave.
at her like that, please.
You need to leave.
You need to leave.
You're not welcome here.
We have citizenship
Why do you work
here.
in healthcare if you're like
You need to leave. You need to go back to your Islamic country where you came from. Okay?
No.
Everybody's aware of why you're here.
No.
Okay, so don't think that we don't know, and don't think you're going to get away with it.
I'm pretty sure we're kind people, but you're not being kind, so you can get out of here. You're not welcome.
I would love to interview this lady. If y'all know this lady, somebody knows I know she lost her job. They said, look, we don't agree with none of her opinions. But what I will say is that a lot of what she said is true. I think she's entitled to her to freedom for her to say what she want to say. Now, if you wearing your business attire, you're subject to getting fired. That's a rhyme. Your business attire, you're subject to getting fired. Don't do things of your own personal volition with your work stuff on. If you running around with an Officer Tatum polo on and you say something crazy that make me look bad, I'm going to have to take action against you. It ain't about freedom of speech when you're wearing your stuff. Take your Officer Tatum polo off, and you can say whatever you want to say. It got nothing to do with me. You want to get crazy, you get crazy. Don't be disrespectful to people, because then I'll fire you over that. But take your stuff off if you're going to be saying that. Now, I know this lady wasn't just walking down the aisle. She go, your people don't belong here no more. I bet they got into a confrontation, and they hurled some things at her, and she started saying stuff back, and they recorded her, and they were nice, and make her look bad. All right, anyway, here's, I think, a GoFundMe. No, this is Crowder's take, Steven Crowder. Play Steven Crowder's take on this, because I thought Steven Crowder had a good observation, because I agree with him. I think 99% of the things she said was true. However, her delivery was not the appropriate delivery, in my opinion. Roll the clip.
When she says, they don't worship Muhammad, they would say. They would say they venerate Muhammad, right? They only worship God. Technicality. Warlord, yes. Pedophile? Yes. Terroristic? Well, certainly the bulk of global terrorism, and it's supported by hundreds of millions of Muslims. And when she says you need to go back to your... Here's a way that could have been said appropriately where you wouldn't be outraged, but the left still would. The way that you're acting, the way that you're dressing, the way that you're approaching people is not in line with our customs in this country. This is not an Islamic country. This is a Christian country. This is a free Western Christian country. And you need to know that that's actually not acceptable here. The way you are talking, the way you are acting, the way you are dressing makes everybody uncomfortable, just as it would if I were dressed this way in your country. And if that bothers you, then I would suggest going back to the Islamic country that you maybe prefer. Otherwise, you need to assimilate. You need to assimilate and be better neighbors. And then we still have a problem with the root of your religion because it's very comparable to other cults that, by the way, we have outright rejected. She could have said it that way. That would have been correct. It shouldn't be required.
I think he's going to go on and say it shouldn't be required to do all that. But she did say what she said. Now, let me put this in perspective. Here, look at the GoFundMe. She out here running it up. Can somebody check the recent numbers on the GoFundMe? Because I think this is from a little bit ago. So she put $250,000 in her GoFundMe, and she's already to $183,000. I got to say some racist stuff online to give me some money. God dang, she said that, but they read $200,000. That's more than she make in a year. I don't know where she live at. Yeah, that's in Texas. She ain't. I don't think she making $250 a year. I think she was working in a massage place. So and she ain't. She running it. $250,000 a year. She didn't came up. She don't need that job no more. She gonna get another job, reinvent herself. But I want to make this very clear to everybody that's watching this. It's at 190 now, so she went up a little bit. I want to make this very clear. This is not a multi-religious country. This is a Christian nation. We allow you, because we're Christians and we're open-minded and we're peaceful people, we allow you to do your own religion in our country. In Muslim nations, everybody doing what they want to do. That don't exist. That's why y'all over here with the Allah Akbar on, because you can't be over. You don't want to be over there. You want to be over here where you can be free and wear the Allah Akbar and halfway do it. Y'all want to halfway play religion. That's the thing that bothers me about some of these people that have a hard time respecting America. I don't mind if you do the Allah Akbar, but if you don't be over here acting like the Allah Akbar is ahead of Christianity. You're only here because it's a Christian nation and we allow you to be free. Because half of y'all ain't even practicing the thing anyway. You want to come over here and do a Christian version of Allah Akbar. You want to come over here and, girl, you only covering up the forehead and the cheekbone. Over where you from, they like this. They can't even see nothing. They got you over here like this and then put a sheet over the eyes right here. They put a sheet over this part and you got all this covered up in that thick cloth, sweating like cats and dogs. And you want to come over here and disrespect us. And you want to do a half-baked Allah Akbar. Y'all be over here drinking and everything. Getting divorced and everything. Y'all silly, man. That's the thing that bothers me. They come over here. Our religion is Muhammad. Muhammad. Okay, live the whole thing like they do over in them other countries. Oh, you don't want to do that. Some of y'all over here gay Muslims. Gay. Women be driving and everything. Get married 2 or 3 times. Kids out of wedlock. Y'all are here playing like the Christians be playing church over here. Y'all be playing Muslim over here. And then be over here acting like y'all stuff better than ours. Shut up. Go back over there and play Muslim and see if you want to. You're gonna be on somebody's porch. Well, your head gonna be on somebody's porch. I don't know where your body gonna be. Your head gonna be on the porch. Or it's gonna be hanging up somewhere. I don't know why y'all don't go live over there. Like, if I was so religiously, zealous, I would go live if you so religiously zealous and Muhammad is doing this and Allah this, Allah that, why don't you go live in one of them nations? I know you can go to UAE or something. It's beautiful over there. You go to Dubai, Abu Dhabi, or wherever it is. I don't be knowing it. They all over there. I don't live over there. I don't even know how they're structured. I got to look at the map. Go to Saudi Arabia and everything, where women can't come outside. That's your religion, bruh. Show me a Christian nation that's that crazy. If you going down the street, they'll flock you if you dress too high. I heard. I think they were doing that in Dubai. They'll whoop you on your legs. Qatar, they'll whoop you on your legs. I don't know if it's a Qatar, but it was a girl. This is why I know. It was a girl that I kind of dated. I ain't date her, really. I just wasn't trying to get to know her. And I was completely turned off. Because she said, in my country where I'm from, women can't drive. So she never drove before. And we were going to go to the mall because we met somewhere to get lunch. And we went to the mall together and I rode with her. And she really can't drive. We almost died. I'm like, girl, you just drove across the street. We almost died. And then she went and got a BBL. I said, I can't do it. Because I called on the phone like, hey, what you doing this weekend? She on the phone crying because her BBL hurt. She like, I can't sit down straight. I gotta lay down all day. I said, girl, you ain't that fine for me to be putting up with this. BBL, whole fake body, everything. A Muslim girl. Couldn't drive a car, nothing. Girl, she was not eligible. But anyway, I got another super chat, then we're gonna get up out of here. Let's see, Crystal, thanks so much. So happy I caught your show live. I watch it every night, but always after the show. Thank you, B. Tatum, from always being awesome and keeping it real. I appreciate you more than you will ever know. Thank you so much. I want y'all to know when y'all say stuff like that, I feel it. You're not just a person online writing a super chat. I feel that. I appreciate you. It means a lot to me. It really does. You know, with these haters out here, they got rid of the 7,000. I think we spent it all, I guess. So they don't talk about that no more. But they out here hating on your boy, man. I be seeing videos online on YouTube and stuff. People be just making up stuff about me. I saw a dude make a whole video. And in the video, I said, I'm not talking about all black people. I'm talking about some black people. This fool got on there and ran it about me saying all black people while he played my clip of me saying not all black people. People have to find reasons to hate on you. And let me give you some words of encouragement, and then we're going to get to post-show clarity. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, I want to encourage you. Believe in yourself. Do not listen to what others say unless they are mentors to you. Everybody else are just giving opinions. They don't know what God put in your heart. They don't know what your mission and your purpose is. Don't listen to nobody tell you how crazy your ideas are, none of that stuff. They don't know what God know and what you know. Stick to your purpose. Stick to your dreams. Dream big like a child. The Bible says we're supposed to have childlike faith. Why did the Bible imagine anything that their mind can go to? And that's what God wants you to do. You're not, just because you're 30 years old, 25 years old, and you're not 5 no more don't mean you need to stop dreaming. Your dreams should be as big as your imagination can go. Quit letting people limit your mind, your brain power. We were made in God's image and likeness. What does that mean? That means God is a creator. That means that God has given us the authority to create. That's how we got an internet that we're looking at right now, and I'm looking at you and you looking at me. Because somebody thought of their mind and God gave us the ability that the things in our mind can become a reality. Don't let people hold you back. So I'm talking to you. Yeah, you know I'm talking to you. Right now, you're probably saying, that was for me. Yeah, it's for you. It's for you. You got to hang in there. Push through it. Keep fighting a good fight. Believe in yourself. And I'm going to tell y'all what I do. I have an avatar in my mind. And the avatar in my mind is the man that I want to be. And he already exists. In shape, very successful, financially, great relationships, good networker, smell good every day, you name it. Happily married, good husband, love his kids, influencing people all over the world. That's the avatar that I see every single day. I look in the mirror and I see that guy. I'm just waiting to meet him. We're going to meet in the middle and go to lunch together. But I imagine who I want to be, and I keep that person here. And everything I do in my life is to become that person. I'm not trying to be Michael Jordan. I'm not trying to be somebody else. I'm just trying to be the best version of me. Okay, love you. That was free. Hold the phone. I'll see you on post-show clarity.